Welcome to our Team Fit Revolution call. I kind of caught you off guard, but you've just been doing some amazing to be relatable to so many people because you've been on board with us for a while, and I would just love for you to kind of share a little bit about you. I don't know if we can get him on the line, but I just really want, if you have just share a little bit of your story, how you got here, and kind of
my physical story, because of course the physical story and the business stories are always going to be a little bit separate. Well, of course, intertwining with each other at the same time. So my physical story, I found P90X about 5 years ago, actually, and this was after going through a shoulder injury. I'm a massage therapist, and I kind of need my shoulders to do my job. Me out of work for about 4 weeks. At the time, I knew I was putting weight on I went from about 175 to about 215 within 2 years, and I found out real quick that my metabolism does slow down eventually. Instead of eating 13 different sandwiches in 1 week working at Quiznos. And on the couch for about 4 weeks. During that time, I started dating a sweet girl. An hour or two would go by, and I would give her the, okay, just a minute, and she would just leave. That's how bad it was. And so, long story short, I went back to work. I noticed my work pants were fitting a little bit tight. That was kind of my first moment. We all have, anyone who's gone through this transformation, we have different moments where you just put your foot down and say, I've had enough. That was my first moment like that. And so I got P90X, found an infomercial from it, got on board, did the first 90 days by myself. I had no idea there was Beachbody and coaching and all this stuff. I just thought P90X was like one of those Walmart DVDs. So I did P90X, lost my first kicked it off together. Reached out, got signed up as a coach. From there, I went through P90X, P90X2, Body Beast, Asylum. I did every program that Beachbody came out with. And the biggest thing, guys, is people look at my transformation now, and they throughout this whole journey. I was one of those YouTubers, I documented everything throughout Insanity, Asylum, Body out there, and I would get these people that would make those comments. And to be honest, I spent the first 4 years of my physical transformation kind of yo-yo dieting. I could never get below 200 pounds. Junk food every single day, knock it off. Because I can tell you, standing in my position now, that a year qualities alone, leading by example, I have stepped into not only a leadership position, but I've become successful, and I've gotten motivation to go to Summit in the best shape I've ever been in. Jason, my good buddy, my coach, he can tell you that we've been to 4 summits already. The first 3 summits, I always weighed about 190. Summit for the first time in my life, proud of what I look like, and I was proud kind of scan and see who's looking at you. Because it's a horrible feeling when you see people looking at you because you're not in the best shape. So that's kind of my personal story, just a real short version of how I came to be where I'm at. I went from 225 to 178, my leanest. I'm up to about 190 again right now, but it's the healthy way because actually I'm finishing a Body Beast in the next couple weeks. So I'm proud to going to look very scrawny. So that's kind of my physical side of it. We'll call you
lean and mean, right?
Lean and mean, that's right. So, yeah, that's 90-day transformations if you are not working on your own. So that's the biggest thing. I want to nail nail it right on. It will not happen for you unless you take control of the nutrition. So that's, like I said, kind of my story there. Cool note on that particular picture. A couple weekends ago, after Thanksgiving, Trista's whole family and I, we went up to a cabin up in Washington. We're from the Portland, Oregon area. Took a whole weekend. That was one of the first trips in my life that I was able to take to not put in a time off request, to not find shift coverage, to not be hassled when I go back to work. Because nice, and every single night I remember sitting down just hanging out, and guys, we vegged out on the couch all weekend and just watched movies. It was amazing. Completely unplugged. I remember just holding Trista, just reflecting on the last year, and because of the work I put in a year ago, because of my turning point, because of my moment of drawing my line in the sand, I was able to take this.
Charles, and that's what I'm so excited about, because I think so many people can relate to what you're talking about, from the yo-yo dieting and the kind of stepping in and out. And we can all relate to that. And I think what everybody just really needs to hear, too, is that you've been doing this for 5 years. What hit you in the gut and between the eyes? What was the moment that you had to draw that line in the sand? And it's just so weird that that whole conversation came up with us when we were talking about it. And, you know, kind of what did you do to focus on being an all-star this year, a Success Club all-star this year? You know, what did you have to do to dig deep the awesomeness that you have going on now with P90X3? Because I know so many people are like, I want to do that. And so if you could share, I know that's a lot, but I know this story is just so in your heart, if you could just kind of take people on that journey and kind of lead them on the phone can hear what they can do with the 21-day fix coming in February. You know, what can they do right now after they kind of get through this launch to get ready for the next launch and get their mind right?
Absolutely, you got it. Yeah, definitely. I'm at my leanest, and if you've done that, you know that the physical transformation to say those words confidently with belief. But it all started with drawing the line in the sand. And it's a funny little backstory is when Angie and I first got on the call, when she wanted me to come on here and talk to you guys, she said, what was your drawing in the line? Where it happened was in Nassau, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, in the Bahamas. So many of you know about Success Club. You hit those 5 points a month. 2012 to hit that, or I guess it's failure, so I quit, like most of us do, right? If we fail at something more than one time, we typically just quit. So what I did was Jason threw out a little mini challenge for me because you do get a guest ticket to these events. And Jason said, you know what? You're my brother. We've been through this journey together. I want to offer you that guest tipping point. So looking back, at the time, of course, I was ecstatic. I got to go to the Bahamas with my coach. But now looking back, guys, that was an easy route. I did not earn that ticket. Beachbody parties go, oh my Lord, it was amazing. We amazing time, and the fact that it was the Bahamas, that was my first time out of the West Coast. I had only been to LA. The fact that I could not take my wife, Trista, to that trip. We had just gotten married not too long before, and I remember when I won that trip, well, quote, oh, that's awesome, you know, we got this room all paid for, do you want to bring Trista? And it broke my heart to say, no, she's not coming. Broke my heart. So I went to the Bahamas. I had an amazing time. Craig Holliday speech. I mean, you guys know how Craig Holliday is. He's an amazing speaker. And I remember that speech hit home for me. It's on YouTube. Go look it up. Craig Holliday, Bahamas. That speech hit home for me. I was motivated. I was inspired. We had a big party on the beach side, which was mind-blowing. That was one of the not Craig Holliday, Carl Deichler. Carl Deichler jumped on stage, Michael Neiman, all the top guys that got on there, celebrate. It's earned this. I think there was if I remember right, there was about 800 of us. There were 800 that earned it. I remember him pointing to everybody in the crowd. I remember his finger coming in my direction saying, you guys earned this. You won the Success Club. As fun as this is, I did not earn it. My wife is not here with me. This is not the trip that she should have missed. That would have been her first time in a tropical setting. She's still too full wife. Deserves to be on that trip. We're going to end this with a bang. And if you guys were there, you remember that moment. The biggest fireworks I have ever seen in my life started going up over the Bahamas, over the ocean, off of a boat. And it was a vision for the future. And like I said, so hard to describe, literally overwhelming. Would have brought me. Katy Perry's song Fireworks was going off, and I still get emotional if I hear it. Yes, I just admitted that on a Team Fit Revolution call. Literally just broke down. And being a guy, we don't like to cry in public. I didn't care. What my why was. That is when I knew that I deserve to be successful. I don't deserve to go to a humdrum job to slave for someone else's dream to make their dream come true. This is my life. I'm putting my foot down. I'm sick of doing this. I'm sorry. Before I sat down in the sand, I went and found Craig Holliday in the crowd because his speech was part of the reason what inspired me so much. And it was the craziest thing. This is before the you already know how much you touched me. And I just gave him a big hug. He said, brother, I love you. Sat down, and that's the emo moment was life-changing. In the sand. And it's fun. I don't really remember doing this, but I wrote in the sand, see, believe, achieve. That was the moment that I drew the line in the sand, which is why when Angie asked, coach for Beachbody, you should be acting like a coach for saw it that night. I needed to believe it. I left that Bahamas trip believing it, and I needed to achieve it, which standing here right now today, a year later, year and a half, I've achieved it. So my fireworks.
How did you roll into that's taking you to?
I'm not going to do it this time. And he would just text back like a coach should and say, no, don't you dare say that. You got it.
Yeah.
Coming out of that Bahamas trip, I cannot tell you how much motivation I had, but guess what? Just like any of you who have gone to Summit, that motivation dies down because motivation is temporary. Commitment is what gets you results. I was motivated for about a month or 2 months, and I started to get tell you how Caribbean cruise for 5 nights and 6 days. All expenses paid for if you hit Success Club for 9 months in a row. And I kid you not, I instantly had that same emotional feeling I had when I saw those fireworks. And I remember in that moment I said, about it. I would sign up new coaches on my team, and they would ask, Chaz, what do I do to build? opening for 2 weeks, I had 4 family members show up. Guess what? The week after that, I had more family show up, more friends show up, and I honestly wanted to quit, but I didn't. I knew that I had to keep doing it day in and day out. Moving forward, I kept that fit club going every single week. It eventually built up to the point where I had 10 or 12 people coming consistently, and we maxed out our room. And so I, checked out the local churches, and luckily I was working with somebody who was in the ministry of this decent-sized church. So I people at this fit club 2 days a week. Granted, it was resolution season. You guys know how that goes. We lost a few of them by the time summer came around. But still, I was able to keep moving forward with that. And through that fit club, I've made one-on-one person. I've gained challengers into my challenge groups. I've gained friends for life. We've all tried. I know we've all tried starting challenge groups, guys, but it doesn't matter if you have one person show up or if you have 30. Start your challenge groups every single month. Don't quit on it. I quit on it in the past way too much, which is why I never had success with it. But guess what? My success through Success Club has been through Fit Clubs and those challenge groups. I run them every single month. But I plugged like 50 people into that challenge group completely for free, and I coached them all for free. I did not care if I made a sale or not. And through those 50 people, I gained a handful of actual people who wanted to get the programs and move on to the next January challenge. So I hit my first Success Club 5 in January. I feel like that was total practice for what I've experienced in December now. So moving into kind of where we're at now in December, not only have I hit those 9 months of Success Club, so I got the crew credit. And that's all fun and games, and it's great to say that, we get to go on this cruise and blah, blah, blah. We get to go to the spa for free. But the thing that I keep thinking about and that drives me the most is the fact that I remember putting my foot down. I stuck with something for an entire year that I actually accomplished. That overrides a tropical cruise any day. And through these last 12 months of me doing this day in and day out, a tropical trip. And I'm looking at that grin on her face right now. She gets to go on this trip, guys. I'm not leaving her at home this time. I left her at home in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Well, what's so important is it's not been an easy journey. You've had to kick your own butt, I'm sure,
my gosh,
along
yeah.
with Jason. So I just want,
Jason's been there. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. This is not.
I know it hasn't been an easy journey, but you said something to me today when we were talking that resonated with me of how I handled the P90X3 launch wrong. I've been talking to people and I've been promoting it positive momentum. It's like if everybody would get Gary Vaynerchuk's new book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, you're a living testament to how that works in social media. You did give, 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 ask for the sale, you know. And so what you told me today, the X3 like crazy, but I could have done better because of what you taught me today, and I'd love you to share that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what I do with P90X3, and for those of you that know me, you know, I know I have half my team on there. Shout out Team Achieve and Team Allegiance. I started early. You know, I did this for many, many months. I did it with when Insanity first came out, and P90X2, and Body Beast, all these launches that we have. I waited until the program came out and then tried to get my challenge groups together. So what I started just throwing out these little Facebook posts saying, hey guys, I'm planning on the P90X3 test group. Let me know if you would like to be one of the first ones to do the program. By the way, the workouts are all 30 minutes each. Quick, simple. You know, a lot of people don't like reading long Facebook posts. I know some of my longer ones, no matter how motivating they are, they don't get much attention because people don't like to sit there and read all day. So I did just short little posts. One people are not going to reach out to you. I can tell you that right now. Half, at least half. Like Angie said, I've hit Success Club 25 this month so far. Board, but now I'm actually I'm thinking 40 or 45 is my new goal. But half of those people are ones that I reached out to because they liked my status, my post about it. Esteem, low confidence, so they're not going to be the ones to reach out to you first. Step up as a coach, act like a coach, and reach out to them. Be the leader that you are. You are a business owner. You're no longer an employee in this. So moving forward, as we got closer and closer to this launch, I kept adding like, oh yeah, I want to get this challenge back. It's going to be great. I'm ready to start my journey. I need to lose 100 pounds. And they're all motivated, but if they sleep on it a few nights, next thing you know, you message them, hey, just want to check in and see if you're still interested in your challenge pack. And we all know the thing where you see them read it, and they never get back to you. It sucks. And if I add everybody in the challenge group early, one-on-one messages, it was crazy the launch day was. I didn't know if it was going to be a morning launch or a night launch, so I kept everyone updated in that group. But aside from that, guess what everyone did when they're in the group for P90X3? They're all talking one time for like a week. And I went in there, guess what? There were like 30 different comments. People are in there, they're excited, they're keeping each other motivated. So when Tuesday came around, that launch happened, boom, 10 challenge packs. I did not those relationships I built. People trusted me enough to say, you know what, I want to try this program. I like Chaz, I like his values. I'm going to join this. I would not have 3/4 of my people in that challenge group right now if I did not teach their life. One big thing I want to touch base on that I think sets myself is the average person walks around. I use the example, go into a grocery store, either stand in line or just watch people as you're grocery shopping. You know, this is one example. It could be anywhere. People typically have their heads down, their shoulders. That's something that I picked up a few years back, especially, you know, like I said, doing massage therapy. I see where people hold tension and emotion more than anything. And so I started paying attention to this, and I just kept seeing how sad and depressed and angry people get. And this was in a grocery they go home to a family full of stress. They stress about financial issues. They're broke. Guys, most of them are unhealthy. Their diets are crap. They don't exercise. They complain about pain all the time. I can't tell you as a massage therapist how many clients I get on my table that their life. You never know whose path you're going to cross in life that because you flashed a smile, because they saw your energy, they felt your energy, your positivity, your happiness, your willingness to listen to them. My entire book I need to pick up.
Yeah, get jab, 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 right hook. It's great. I just
like
started
it.
reading it. Yeah,
That is on my list now.
Yeah, and you talked a lot about personal development, and that's just kind of how we'll close it out. Your personal development. What I love about your board, it's so simple, anybody can do it. It doesn't, It's not rocket science. It's not super technical. And if Blake can put that up, I think that would be great for everybody to go, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I have to give a shout out because I have to give a shout out to Scotty Hobbs, because I first saw his video about what he does every single morning, and it was pretty
The one with the board?
The whiteboard.
Is it on your Facebook?
Oh, no, I sent it to you on an email.
No.
Oh, well, maybe you can describe the board, because it was.
Which those have to stay confidential. But I have priority science, and I know, right? And so one thing that I've heard before was your top 20% will always produce of my customers and my clients. I write their name on that board because I'm constantly at the top, and I write down my goal for Success Club points. What I do is I write them up ahead of time, because this is where vision comes into play. You cannot and then on the far right, this has been a huge key in my success. It's a daily task list. It's nothing fancy. There's no in-depth marketing strategies and all this kind of stuff. It's just a very simple step-by-step process as far as Facebook, Instagram, etc. And so I'm going to bust through that real quick. Number one, personal development. I know there's coaches out there for reading versus audiobooks, because me personally, I take more out of it. I'm able to go back to development, get it done first thing in the morning, because guess what? You cannot give back to others when you haven't. An empty cup. If your mind early, do your personal development, because guess what? When you fill yourself up, when you fill your own cup up so much that it's overflowing, then you can give back to others and be 110% on your game for the entire day. So I do that. First thing in the morning, all my messages that came in over the night. I check in with my coach group, my P90X3 group now, my our different challenge group I have, and so I check through all my groups. I do a motivational post. one called mentors. And so how you do this is go to like list. So let's say you go to Carl Deichler's page and highlight friends, and we'll drop down a menu. The news feed of just those people you added are going to be in there. So I get to look at a news feed of all positive, motivating stuff from my mentors. Then the last thing that I do is notifications. Video plan that I want to do that day, I'll typically bust it out then. I run my own schedule on my time. So this is the time after my workout in Shakeology. I typically go over to my clinic, start doing my massages, and then when I get home at night, I'll bust out. Better doing the whole blogging thing. I typically stick with Facebook and videos. So I'm getting better at the blogging, so I'm going to start working that in. Of course, checking your Team Beachbody office should be at the very beginning of the list after your personal development, because that is your office. I tell my team, that's a little thing I thought about one time, and I went, you know what? I need to start checking my office more often, because that is unlocking your door for your business. You need to know what's going on. Check the breaking news section, all that kind of stuff. The last thing I have on there is text clients. I recently added that on there. That's why it's at the bottom. But I added a lot more one-on-one. They feel a lot more personalization with it, because if you're just on Facebook, you know, Facebook is a mess sometimes. Everyone's on there messaging and notifications popping up and all that kind of stuff. So I find that if I just take time throughout the day to text this thing. When I put my foot down in January, I don't quit.
Yeah. You're consistent and persistent. Because, one, I learned so much from talking to you. And, you know, Blake and I, we're old dogs, right? But we still learn, you know, all the time from the coaches and friends. You know, we're so honored to be for Charles, or you. I mean,
No.
right? I wrote. Okay, well, again, everybody, I hope you took some notes on Charles, on his journey, but more importantly, made some really good notes on the simplicity of what you can do to have success going. Working with. And I know from Blake and I and Charles, you know, that's our wish for you. That's our Christmas wish for you, that you'll take the simplicity that Charles laid out for you. And Charles, again, thank you so much. Your story is great. I can't wait to see you. That great big smile up on stage, and we'll for sure be hanging out with you on the cruise. And I'm just so proud of you. And again, well, we'll see more great things from you. Well, everybody, we're going to wrap this up. We want to thank you for spending some time with us. Next week's call, we are going to get a group of coaches that were at the Eric Worre event with us. I have a surprise for everybody, or Blake and I have a surprise for you. Carl Deichler will be our guest to ring in the new year, January 2nd, 2014. Yeah, so I hope you will join us next Thursday to get a little bit of some nuggets from the leaders that were at Eric Worre's event in Las Vegas, Go Pro Recruiting Mastery, and then and pass this recording on to your team when you get it, guys, so that there's great nuggets in here for success. So with that, we're going to wish you all a great night. Charles, again, thank you, and have everything.